Tim Flatt is the CEO of RTVA Inc., the visionary behind the groundbreaking real-time voice analyzer, a pioneering non-invasive COVID screening tool powered by AI technology. And Tim is on the line with us here. How are you today?
I'm doing great.
So, can you tell us just a bit more about the real-time voice analyzer and the way it works in COVID screening?
I'm glad to. So basically, what you're looking at is a mobile app that gives you the ability to detect whether you have the COVID virus with just the sound of your voice. And so that's the basic deal. It's a screening tool, so it's not a medical device, but a screening tool. It's not designed for diagnosis or treatment or cure or anything along that lines. It's really similar to what you might use a blood pressure medicine for, to give yourself a checkup and see how you're doing. And then if you see something wrong, then you would take the next steps after that. You're not going to self-diagnose yourself with a blood pressure issue, so it's the same deal. It's a screening tool. And so what it basically does is that, for hundreds of years, the medical field has used the sounds of the human body as a screening tool to determine where to look for things. So, for example, in the early 1800s, when they first came out with the stethoscope, that was an extension of just listening, putting an ear up to a body and listening to the body. And from that, they might say, okay, I hear congestion. Every doctor now is trained, hears congestion in the lungs. Let's do an X-ray for pneumonia, or he hears something else, and there's another thing that they do. So it's a screening process. So it's not really that big of a change necessarily in the medical approach. It's just that they've been able to determine over the last about decade that you can determine respiratory viruses by listening to the vocal folds, that a virus will sit on the vocal folds and that it can be detected. And so the technology now is there where they can provide both an algorithm to detect it and then also the AI to deliver the test to the algorithm to understand it.
And it's quite fascinating, really, to use your voice. I mean, is it just for COVID, or would it be true to say that you have a different sounding voice if you've got COVID compared to another, maybe similar virus?
We would not be able necessarily to tell the sound of the voice detected with a human ear. Okay, it's something so it's not just the sound of the voice, but it's actually what's projected from the vocal folds. So the idea, this concept was started to detect RSV about a decade ago, and then it switched over to the research. There was a lot more opportunity to research during COVID. And so it really is determining a respiratory virus, which is great because it's a contagious virus. Now, our particular algorithm was set and worked on in health clinics around the world to detect COVID, but it will detect some of the other coronaviruses, some of the influenzas or flus, and also some common colds. Ideally, long term, and this would have to go through a lot of proving and stuff, a lot more scientific research. But the idea would be that I could see, less than a decade from now, where the voice analyzer might be able to determine what exactly you have, not just that there is a respiratory virus and that you need to pursue looking at it, but it's a potential that it could give you a hint and say, it's a respiratory virus, and the doctor be able to look at that and say, okay, we're going to check for, pneumonia because it looks like it could be pneumonia. So I think that's all that can happen. It's all about research. It's all about research dollars, money spent, time spent. And we'll continue to see advancements made. And that's one thing that's great about this product is that we're funding research to continue to expand it.
Yeah. Well, has there been a lot of research and clinical studies that have been put into this?
Yeah. I mean, there's been studies. It started off, Dr. Rita Singh from Carnegie Mellon University is the lead on our particular team in research, and she's actually has the patent pending for what she has discovered. But if you go and search, you'll see that Cambridge and you'll see that Yale School of Medicine, you'll see the MIT. I believe there's a university in Amsterdam as well that have all done the researches, and they've all come up with the same conclusion that you can definitely determine, the science is there that you can determine it. The question is, how do you deliver it and make sure that you're delivering it consistently, the results consistently? But there's no question the research is there, and scientifically, it is detectable. The viruses are detectable.
And you mentioned that it's not a kind of definite test, like if it's a positive, you have COVID. So what should you do if you get a positive result?
Yeah, the way I'd like to say this here is, we're all familiar with rapid test, right? So a rapid test, when you take a self-test at home, it's really nothing more than a screening process. They can call it a test, but it's really screening. And what it's designed to do is give you direction, okay, as a person. And when you take a rapid test, people tend to say, I've got COVID because they took a rapid test. But, there's the fact of the matter is that you're looking at a ratio, somewhere between 80 and 85% accuracy rate. Now, our test is, our results, our scientific research shows that our results are at least that good, but in almost all cases better than what you would get from a rapid test. And then we keep in mind that at the end of the day, when you actually end up having to pay for our test, our screening tests, they're going to cost $1 or less compared to going to the local store and paying anywhere from $3. I know in Europe it can be a little bit less expensive than the U.S., where we're paying $12 to $13 per test for a rapid test. But if you do get a positive test, the first thing you want to do is verify that. So we say drink a glass of water, wait 20 minutes, and take the test again, because dried out vocal folds can give false positives. All right. So that's the first thing you want to do, is establish that for sure it's still showing you have it. And then the second thing is that once you've done that, it really is in your hands. Remember, it's not a diagnosis. You don't definitely have COVID because we can't say that. So what we're saying is, now you want to either consider, maybe you need to rest. Maybe you need to go take a PCR test, right, and actually see whether or not it's demonstrating COVID. Maybe you need to self-isolate. Maybe you need to see the doctor. But that's really comes down to what you think the best option is. And a lot of that will depend on what your symptoms are. That will be connected with your symptoms and what you feel like you should do.
And on the other hand, what does a negative result mean?
Well, a negative result, we show a very, very high negative predictability rate. So a negative test is going to mean that you don't have a COVID test. I mean, overwhelmingly do not have COVID. I mean, and so that's what gives you the peace of mind to be able to go out and do stuff. You get ready for a family gathering. You've got a raspy voice, and you're starting to, you want to double check and say, do I have COVID? And so you do that, and then you can feel good going out and seeing grandma or the newest baby in the family and not be worried about passing COVID. It's going to give you that sense of checking that out and making it sure, like what a rapid test would do, except that, what's great about ours is that it's non-invasive, and that's really the great thing. It's less expensive and non-invasive. And initially, as you know, it's free to use for a while. And so we have a great offer for people to try it out now.
Absolutely. Are false positives and false negatives quite common? Obviously, you mentioned there's a higher reliability compared to other tests, but does it still happen? And which one is more common?
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to happen. False positives are probably going to be more common than false negatives, because our accuracy ratings are higher on the false negatives than they are, on the negative predictability than they are on the other. But there's not really, the bottom line is this here, even a PCR test, which is as good as it gets out there. Most recent studies show that's a 95% accuracy. So you're going to have 5% false positives or false negatives on a PCR test. So we haven't reinvented so that we have something so there's nothing there, but we've created something that's equal to or better that's non-invasive and less expensive.
A lot of people might be thinking this is a COVID test, and COVID for most people is over, in inverted commas. So why do we need this?
Well, it is over right now. But I always like to say to people when they tell me that, I like to say influenza since 1918. I mean, the bottom line is that respiratory viruses don't go away. All right, they may go slow down. It's a great test to use. It's a fun test to use for anything. Okay, just to test how you're doing. But the fact is, when you get congestion, you get a cold, you think COVID. You can say it's gone. It doesn't bother me. I want to be done with it, but it's not really your choice. And so variants come out, things happen. It's not as if we had released this a year and a half ago, it's a whole different story in the terms of the amount of people that would be downloading it and getting excited about it. But the fact of the matter is, COVID will be around, and we are building a line of defense. And I think it's a great way to stop the spread when it hits your community.
Can the test itself actually detect the flu and other things that you mentioned?
Yeah, it can detect some variants of it. And as time goes on, like I said, I think you're going to find that the research will continue to grow. The clinic studies are going to be able to continue to grow, and we'll be able to do more and more. And we'll have to work with, different parts of the world. You have to work with different regulatory groups and what you're allowed to say and not say. And that's why we've kept this to be really simple, that it's not for diagnosis or treatment or curing or prevention. But what it does do is it gives you a barometer. It gives you some indicators to look at. It gives you and for you to be able to take control of your own health care and make your own decisions.
Logistically and all this, right? How long does it take for you to get your result back? Because is it instantaneous, or does it maybe sit and analyze your voice for a bit?
Less than 10 minutes. We see anywhere from 3 to 5 to 10 minutes. 10 minutes is the maximum I've ever seen, but it's less than 10 minutes. So it's faster than other traditional ways. And I know I've mentioned, but I want to say it one more time. Non-invasive is a fun word. Okay. Yeah. It sounds great. But when we say non-invasive here, what we mean is no nasal swab.
Yeah.
And everybody's got great memories about those nasal swabs back in the day. So I want to say that when I say non-invasive here, it means a lot more to the average person when you think of it that way.
Yes, absolutely, because it was a horrible feeling and it would linger, which is the worst bit. So it's great. And for the PCR, in this country anyway, sometimes you could be waiting weeks. And with the lateral flow, you had to wait about half an hour. So this is the quickest one I've heard of. So it's good in terms of price and speed.
Oh, absolutely. And yeah, I think one of the things that's great about I'm gonna put a pitch in for our free offer, because I want to explain a little bit beyond that. But basically, we have a free offer where if you sign up and download it, you get to get 10 free uses the first month, and then one per month for the next 11 months after that. And when we say free, we don't take your credit card or anything. We mean completely free. If you like using it and you want to come back and pay us and sign up for a subscription, you're going to have that opportunity. But then you'll have to put your credit card in, because we want to earn your business. We don't want to sneak a charge in there. Okay. We want to earn your business. And also, we will have ways within the app where you can earn additional free tests. So it's going to create an opportunity for people to be able to continue to earn free tests and be able to use it that way. So the app's going to be a lot of fun to use. And I'll tell you what, once people start using it, the fact you can do it anywhere, anytime makes it really a lot of fun to be able to use it that way.
Yeah, and you say anywhere, anytime. Does it require access to the internet?
It does not require access to the internet. I mean, your phone. Okay, yeah. So your phone's got to be connected, right? And so you got me there. You can't be out on the Amazon River and doing it, and you can't be you got to be in a quiet place. You can't be in a concert. Okay, so there is a little bit. There are some deals, but anywhere, anytime is a way better slogan than anywhere except the Amazon River, anytime, but at a concert. So that's why we. Yeah.
I wonder if you did do it in a concert, what the result would say.
It would say it would stop you. It would stop you. It'd say get to a quieter place, because it could detect that, because it's really smart because it's
Yeah.
AI.
It knows it's not listening to what it wants to.
Exactly.
Because you have to be connected and it's on a mobile phone, these days with data protection and all this, people might wonder, are these test results kept private?
Absolutely. Matter of fact, only you have access to them. We don't sell your information, share your information. We never report to anybody what the tests are. And then we actually don't maintain records of what the of even your actual voice sounds. So we don't keep that information. You're the only one that has access to any of those things.
What was it that actually gave you this whole idea in the first place?
Well, it wasn't actually my idea. I put together the deal to do the app and do the marketing. But Dr. Singh and her team at Carnegie Mellon University really are the ones that came up with the concept and got the patent. We have a technology partner, which their name is Hematico. They're the ones that actually deliver the results, right? They're the ones that maintain the AI and maintain the algorithm and the AI and make sure that everything works properly. And what we do is we provide the app, which is basically the entry into that. And so it gives a way for anybody anywhere in the world to sign up and to have access to this technology. And that's what my team does and what my company does, real-time voice analyzer. And that's what we're out there promoting, just to get as many people to try the app and see how great it is from anywhere around the world.
Yeah, absolutely. What future developments or enhancements do you think will be on the way for RTVA?
I believe that there will come a time when you could be able to take an RTVA test, whether you're on your own phone or go to a doctor's office or a chiropractor's office. You'll take the test when you're not feeling well. It's something respiratory, and that will give them direction on where to look. And so they'll use it that same way. And not only will they use it in those offices and in hospitals, when people check in, they're going to be able to monitor it like that. But I believe that you're going to have that same access that they have that will give you the direction. Because, if you take it, you have and it's able to determine that you have the common cold. Well, you have some chicken noodle soup. All right. Yeah. Don't run to the emergency room, but if you take it and it says down the road, again, I'm saying it says that you have something like pneumonia, well, that's a different story. Get to the doctor. So I think that can happen over time. It's way above my pay grade, and way above our company, what we do. But the technology, I believe that you're going to see that they're going to find a way to put that together over time, and it will be generally adopted the same way that the stethoscope has been adopted. It will be adopted to be used in medical clinics and hospitals throughout the world.
Well, if we're interested in trying this out, where can we go and sign up for the no charge trial?
Okay, just go to your app store and go to either your Android or your Google store or your iOS store, your Apple store. Search real-time voice analyzer, download it. Just that simple, and it's very easy to do. And you'll have the only thing I would just say to everybody is when you do it, just make sure you spell your email address right. The biggest trouble we're having right now, fingering your email address, and then once you've done that, you can only get 10 free tests to your mobile phone for the first sign up. So then if you go sign up the second time and do it right, you're not going to get 10 free tests, because obviously if we did that, then people would be getting 10 free tests every time, right?
Yes.
I mean, just over and over again, there'd never be a chance to make money. So that's what it is. So just be careful that you put your address in correctly. Your email, all you need is your email address and your name. And you do that, you verify your email address, and boom, you got your app and you get your 10 credits, and you can start doing it. And you can even share it with your friends and family, because there's ways you can do tags. So you can say, hey, this is the wife, or this is my son. And you can have him take the test and you keep track of all of his results separately. Really, it's a great app. It's a lot of fun. It's really cool. And that app will continue to get better because we keep coming up with enhancements on that as well. And so we're just glad to have you be part of our team, and let's see if we can't slow COVID down.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, many thanks for joining us today. It's been great to have you on the show.
Oh, thank you. I enjoyed being here.